suit, French letter, and my girl bad. Gatekeeper says open, I ain't coming back. 15-minute TED Talk collecting 40 rags. 1 million paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 million paid in tax, bitch, do the math. Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 million paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Did the math, I'm baby Johnny Cash. My girl gon' throw it back, that my life is cinemax. Holy hell, this max, I make hits and you make trash. I'm on vacay, do not ask, poolside eating Apple Jacks. Shut up, bitch, shut up. Big deal like TJ Maxx, pop some cataracts. Watching art attack, Nick Cage how I act. Heavily just like tax, got some aces on my feet, never wear a mask. I'm in the cut like a womb, wake your ass up, make some room. And my girl, coming soon, I don't fuck with honeymoons. Throw some money on my tune, finesse too hard, I'm feeling Girls love me, they want a spoon, let me finish, I'll resume. Flame suit, French letter, and my girl bad. Gatekeeper says open, I ain't coming back. 15-minute TED Talk collecting 40 rags. 1 million paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Do the math, do the math. 1 million paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 million paid in tax, bitch, do the math. I just curved cameo, she said I'm a Romeo. She gon' split me up and lit me up like Oreo. First global book deal, sell that shit to Indigo. Getting money since I was an itty bitty embryo. Save my money when I die for the fam. Always make a sale, cab to Moran. Shawty tryna play some games where I don't play Catan. I'm a plug, she an outlet, cut up Mr. Middleman. Yeah, I got assets, she wants to come see. Yeah, only speak the truth, hyperbole. Goddamn, I sound good on this beach. Extraterrestrial ET, flame suit, French letter, and my girl bad. Gatekeeper says open, I ain't coming back. 15-minute TED Talk collecting 40 rags. 1 million paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 million paid in tax, bitch, do the math. Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 million paid in tax, bitch, do the math. Do the math, bitch, do the math.
But they always tryna lowball. I done picked it up just like a phone call. Wonder why I'm hot, got a cold heart. And I'm on a go, 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 go. Whoa, 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 whoa. I go paint the picture like Mozart. I've been on my go talk. Lately how I'm coming, I got no flaws. They just wanna stop me, but I won't pause. The flow like the goat wall. I go make that money, make the dough fall. Yeah, I go shake it up and make the snow fall. Yeah, work with me and we gon' have to both ball. I'm trying with the Rari like a go-kart. Yeah, you know I'm going up. I feel like Giannis. Hold up, let's be honest. Need the bucks and all the comments. Perfect timing when I'm shining. They be mad that I'm still grinding. When they switch and I'm still solid. Getting paper like it's college. Or like on a pilot. Shorty mad cause now I'm popping. Ain't no way that I can stop it. Spread my wings and now I'm flying. Hit the slide and now I'm gliding. They so shocked that I didn't find it. How they not know what the time is when I've been on my go talk. Rappers want my feature but they always tryna lowball. I done picked it up just like a phone call. Wonder why I'm hot, got a cold heart. And I'm on a go, 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 go. Whoa, 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 whoa. I go paint the picture like Mozart. I've been on my go talk. Lately how I'm coming, I got no flaws. They just wanna stop me, but I won't pause. The flow like the goat wall. I know that they wanting what I got, let them rock, yeah. I tell them go get it when it's hot, don't stop, yeah. I've been down 10 since the drop. I've been heating up, I'm getting hot, got a pot, yeah. I'm gonna be a millionaire, I've been going silly, yeah. Top won't be the ceiling for me, thought that I'ma see you there. Mad that I ain't got the bag, it's alright, I never care. I'm gonna get the last lap, you gon' see me everywhere. They just mad to see that I could really be about it. All these rats and these racks, they see I be stylish. Started at the bottom, now the boy is on the rising. Haters going silent, ain't no one can stop it. I've been on my go talk. Rappers want my feature, but they always tryna lowball. I done picked it up just like a phone call. Wonder why I'm hot, got a cold heart. And I'm on a go, 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 go. Whoa, 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 whoa. I go paint the picture like Mozart. I've been on my go talk. Lately how I'm coming, I got no flaws. They just wanna stop me, but I won't pause. The flow like the goat wall.
Wait, I just had my first pink. I ain't have a job in 2 years, it was way harder than you think. Never thought I'd be the one to make it happen, I thought I would just sing. Funny how things change, not a girl I really wanna link. Wait, everything 180, huh? Next stop a Mercedes, huh? Why my ego inflated? Cause old haters outdated. And to all the girls I dated, I'm really sorry I made it. And we can't even have a conversation anymore, my number's not the same. Damn, I'm on the same bullshit like a matador. And the VA sound like a dinosaur. Pretty little bitch that I ignore. She wanna get nailed to a 2x4. Everybody say they wanna see me score, but these days I don't really know no more. Hey, motherfuckers really hurt my core. If I keep going cool, they gon' pull my cord. I'm on the same bullshit like a matador. And the VA sound like a dinosaur. Pretty little bitch that I ignore. She wanna get nailed to a 2x4. Everybody say they wanna see me score, but these days I don't really know no more. Hey, motherfuckers really hurt my core. If I keep going cool, they gon' pull my cord. And that's why I don't really got no friends. Circle same size since I don't know when. And I don't really know who want me to win, but that's the result of the city I'm in. I work like a slave, trying to get everyone paid. I want everything like Tim. What do I say? I just wanna pull up in the race, make a car dash like Kim. Smile on her face, she can't wait till I get paid. I'ma take her far from her sins. Everything changed, it's a bigger picture in the frame. I ain't never looked back since. Said she want a steak, we already went to every place, so I had to take her out the crib. Incredible taste, but it won't last longer than a date. Because I'm on the same bullshit like a matador. And the VA sound like a dinosaur. Pretty little bitch that I ignore. She wanna get nailed to a 2x4. Everybody say they wanna see me score, but these days I don't really know no more. Hey, motherfuckers really hurt my core. If I keep going cool, they gon' pull my cord. I'm on the same bullshit like a matador. And the VA sound like a dinosaur. Pretty little bitch that I ignore. She wanna get nailed to a 2x4. Everybody say they wanna see me score, but these days I don't really know no more. Hey, motherfuckers really hurt my core. If I keep going cool, they gon' pull my cord.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. My name is Brian Mansell, and I'm the host of the Brian Mansell Show. And I've been a sports media professional now for about a couple years, and got a podcast, or vodcast, whatever you want to call it. We stream live on Twitch every weekday morning here on Twitch and on YouTube, so you can watch it either platform. We have access to both. Same tags, the Brian Mansell Show for both. It's all the same. Now, today, we're gonna try to keep it slow on topics, so we only got 4 or 5. The first 2 will probably be fairly quick, but we have a lot of other things to cover. So the little topics we do have, they're gonna be going for a while because we have a lot to go over. So we'll make it quick. First off, ALCS was last night, Game 4. The Rangers, as me and Alex had predicted, my guest yesterday, Alex Guyvich-Prodich of Big Blue in the Bronx on YouTube, we had a conversation about the ALCS and what we thought was possibly going to happen. He felt that the Astros were likely going to win the game yesterday, and that's exactly what happened. It ended up being that Andrew Heaney just wasn't prepared for it. They had an advantage with their Urquidy careers pitching against the Rangers, and it played a big part in their victory. So they ended up winning the game and tying the series at 2. So with all momentum now shifted in the Astros' favor, can the Rangers take one tonight to try and get the edge before they go back to Houston? I think they're going to need it if they want to win the series. They got to do it. So we'll see. We'll go over that. NLCS Game 3 last night. We had our first walk-off of the postseason by the Arizona Diamondbacks, who beat the Phillies and have now gotten back into the series. It's now a 2-1 series for Philly. Arizona, don't sleep on them. Things could happen. These are 2 good teams who play really well at home. So we'll see what happens if the Dbacks can continue that trend tonight. College football, tomorrow. All the big games, all the big top 25 games are tomorrow. Here, we're going to give some games that you guys need to watch in Week 8 before you make any bets. Which ones are going to be really hard to bet and have the highest risk factor involved. Thursday Night Football, because we didn't do a Thursday Night Football stream, once again, I do apologize for that yesterday. I put out a message on social media. The reason was I had a work project to finish that was due last night, and there was no way I was going to be able to get it done if I didn't stream. If I streamed. If I streamed, I wouldn't have got it done. So I felt the best thing possible was to make that a priority, my work first. So I ended up doing that, and I bypassed the stream. But I'm making it up to you guys today. The later game today in the League Championship Series is the Philly and Arizona game. So I will be doing the NLCS Game 4 tonight, 8:07 Eastern. That you can physically watch on TBS, but I will be calling the actual game here on Twitch. So be prepared for that. Thursday football review we're going to do of the Jaguars and Saints. What happened? Things really went down. We'll do a little bit of we're going to do a bit of a breakdown. That breakdown could easily go somewhere between 20 to 40 minutes. And it's because I take breakdowns very seriously. I go through every single detail. I go through every single play and really diagnose what was the problem. Because I'm a person who likes to study film. So by studying film, I know what trends were working, what wasn't working. So I'll explain that to all of y'all later on. And to close out, as we do every Friday, we're doing NFL Week 7 predictions. Last week, we went 12-3, which is actually very big. 12-3 last week on picks is huge. That actually puts our season record now at 59-36. We'll go into the details on each game and tell you what is the best bet. So don't miss out on that. But again, if you are joining us for the first time here on Twitch or YouTube, please consider giving us a follow or subscribing to the channels. It goes a long way in helping us grow here on YouTube and as well on the sports community of Twitch. We want to help make this show bigger every day, and it can't be done without your help and your support. So thank you guys so much. If you guys can, it'd be great. Now, with that all being said, let's get into the first topic. ALCS Game 4 recap from last night. So last night's Game 4 involved some interesting moments. In the ALCS game, as I was speaking about, there was a blowout, is probably the way to put it. The Astros blew out the Rangers last night, and it wasn't close. Honestly, neither pitcher got the win, because I think there were struggles early from both sides, if I'm correct. I believe there was struggles from both sides early, which led to some controversy and some struggles and some issues, and it all adds up to a point. So we're gonna go over those, and I'm gonna try to pull up the highlights real quick so we can talk about it as I mute the videos I'm finding. All right, got the Astros highlights for you, so we have that ready. I'm going to make sure that I get this thing muted because this isn't for you guys. Sorry, everybody. One more time. There we go. Got it. Because I'm trying my best not to use audio, because audio is the quickest way to get hit with the copyright suit. I'm trying to avoid that today. Let me update the date here. Thank you very much. It's going to be October 20th, everyone. October 20th. If you guys haven't kept track of the days, it's fine. Neither have I. October 20th. And now we can add on what we were looking for, which was the YouTube window. Pull up the YouTube highlights. Thank you very much. So Altuve at the plate to start here, and he gets a nice little base hit that goes down the left field line, which gets him to go to second early, so that helps a good amount. Now, this has been a decent performance up to this point by the squad. For the Astros, this was a game that needed to be won, because you don't want to be down 3-1 in a series, especially in front of a Texas crowd. That's where things can go wrong really quickly, and they were able to avoid that, thank goodness. But in terms of what could happen afterwards, what could have happened if they didn't win this, it'd be a big problem. But Bregman, as you can see, sends this into the gap in right center to Tavares, who makes the play. But there's still no outs, and that scores Altuve. Coming around is Brantley, and the run is going to be safe. That's two-run RBI triple by Bregman, and that puts the Astros up high early. So the Astros already striking quickly here. Heaney already having issues on the mound, and this one is a big base hit out to center that scores Bregman. It's a 3-0 game just like that. Houston in control. Yordan Alvarez being the hero he is for those Houston Astros. Maldonado gets walked by Heaney, and the struggles continue. And here comes Bruce Bochy, who's going to have to make a pitch and change already into the bullpen. So out comes the only person who could probably save them right now. They're pulling in Dan Dunning, and he gets the strikeout on Maldonado. And that's going to send us to the bottom of the first. So 3 runs given up in the first. Not a good start for Texas. They already lost their pitcher who got knocked out in the first. But here comes Jose Urquidy, and this one's going to drop. It's going to be a little bit of a flyer out to center. but that one's going to be for the out. With 2 outs now, Carter pops this one out to shallow center, right? And that one's caught by Pena. That ends the first. So we go to the top of the second here. Altuve at the plate again. He's going to get another strong single out to right. And Garcia makes the play, but he's going to stay at first. 1 man on, nobody out. Once again, another recap of that big, hard roller out there. But Dunning now at the plate. He's going to go and try to get Altuve at first. He's not able to get it. Altuve makes it back to the bag on the pickoff attempt. They did a review on it, and he did make it before he was tagged, as it looks. And they're reviewing it just to be sure. He's still safe. So Abreu gets a nice hit with man on first and third, but they get the force at second. And that ends that one. That ends that mess. But Adolis Garcia now at the plate against Houston. He gets a hold of this one, sends it deep out to left, hugging the foul pole, and it's gone. That's going to be the first run of the game for the Rangers. A solo home run for Adolis Garcia, and the Rangers are on the board. 3-1 now, Astros. The lead's now down to 2. Big time hit from Adolis. And as you can see by their reactions, they were very shocked to see how far that one went. They were very happy about it, regardless. So here at the plate now is Josh Young, who sends this one deep out to left, but it's going to be just shy of the warning track, so the play is going to get made. But that's going to bring a runner home. And with 2 outs, it's now a 3-2 ball game. Evan Carter scores from third on the sac fly. It's 3-2 Astros. The Texas Rangers are right back in this thing. But they weren't able to get any more runs there, so we go to the bottom of the third. The Astros did go scoreless in the top. But here's Seager at the plate now, hoping to make this game an interesting one. Here's the pitch from Urquidy. He sends this one deep out to left center. He goes to make the play at the wall. It's out of here. Out by the Lockheed Martin sign. And that's a home run for Corey Seager. A solo shot that ties the game at 3 and puts the Rangers back in control. And as you can see by the fans' reactions in Texas, they were very, very excited about that. Well, now we're in a rough pickle. Because now you're in the situation where Bregman at the plate, the bases loaded at the top of the fourth. But they get the strikeout. Dunning gets out of that one. That's 1 out. He's got 2 more outs to go to get out of this officially. And you can see everybody's super pumped for this. But now comes the big bad man trying to ruin everybody's hopes and dreams. Yordan Alvarez, the dream crusher, the soul crusher of so many American League teams over the last couple of years. It's going to continue here, isn't it? Well, he sends this one deep out to right center. Right at the warning track. The play is made by what looks to be Tavares. And a run's going to score on the sack attempt. And it's a 4-3 ball game. Houston has the lead regardless. But Bradford had to come in for Dunning. And he's able to get another out there, but unfortunately it was sack fly. Now here comes Jose Abreu, who we've been mentioning wasn't doing great in this season, having a really strong postseason. Well, he continues that trend, and he sends it to left center, up into the second deck for a 3-run shot that gives the Astros a commanding 7-3 lead. A 3-run homer for Jose Abreu, who remains hot in the postseason. The Astros up big now after a really poor pitching decision by Bradford. So Abreu puts him back on top big time. It's now the bottom of the 5th. Marcus Semien is on base. Seager at the plate. Hits this one right to first. And they called him out. So it would be a double play that would pretty much, I believe it would maybe end the inning. Well, they're going to review here. And as they review, it looks like Abreu tagged the batting glove of Marcus Semien. If his batting glove was not in his pocket, this would be ruled safe. Because it's in his pocket, it's considered a part of his body, and he's tagged out. And for that reason, Semien is doubled up here. It's a double play. 2 outs for the Rangers, a man on second in the bottom of the 5th. Carter sends this one out to center. And the play is made by Dubon. And Houston gets out of another one thanks to a miracle fluke play. They're getting a tag of that glove. Well, Chas McCormick's at the plate, 7-3 game. Smith Not a great pitch because Smith sends this one to the wall, and that one's also out of here in left. A 2-run homer for Chas McCormick. And the Astros are now up 9-3. There's just no stopping this team. Bottom of the 7th, Josh Young trying to get back on the board, but a phenomenal play by Altuve gets the out at first. Dare I say that was Jeter-esque? Dare I say? I'm not going to say it. But it was a phenomenal play regardless. Top of the 8th now. Astros in full command. Altuve gets this one, and he just sends that one out too, off the top of the wall. And he's going to go to the second. It looked like it was going to be a homer, but they're ruling it a homer. It didn't look like one at first, but it's ruled a home run. Altuve touched the top of the wall. The ball touched the top and bounced back into play. So that's a solo home run for Jose Altuve. It's a 10-3 ball game. The Astros would go on to win this game 10-3. As you can see on the review, it hit the yellow line. If it hits the yellow line, that is a home run. Well, apparently that was not enough to declare that that was a homer. They took it back. They gave him a triple, and a double. So 2 outs. Alvarez scores him anyway. He sends it to right. And Alvarez gets safely first. It's an RBI single for him. It's a 10-3 ball game. Anyway, we go in the top of the 9th. They're 3 outs away from having this series tied up. Going to game 5. And Young hits it to third. Play made by Bregman. Play made by Abreu. Astros win this one in dominating fashion. The Astros are going to game 5. There will definitely be a game 6. I'll tell you that much at minimum. There's definitely a game 6. But that's the conversation, and that's exactly what we were talking about. The Astros did their job yesterday, stayed alive in the series, extended it, and now here they are going to a game 5 tied at 2 in Texas, which means it is guaranteed now that the Astros will have another game in front of their home crowd at Minute Maid Park. They will have another one. And knowing how the Astros have played at Minute Maid this year, I don't think you want to be a Minute Maid. I really don't think so. But according to the box score, Stanek, who was pitching for the person who started for Houston again was Urquidy. He only made it into the 3rd inning, got 1 out in the 3rd. But his stat line finishes at 3 earned runs on 5 hits, 1 walk, a strikeout, and 2 homers. That's why they put in Stanek, who gets the win. He pitched less than an inning to get out of that one. 100, but Brown, Matten, and Montero were the ones who closed it out to avoid any more damage from the Rangers. The bullpen did not allow a single run after Urquidy's start. Rangers ended up taking Heaney out in the 1st inning. He didn't even finish the 1st. He made it through 2 outs. They put Dunning in, and Dunning allowed 3 more runs of his own in less than 3 as well. And he gets the loss for this pitching matchup. In the end, this was just a really bad game for the Rangers. They need to get the bad taste out of their mouths and move on. It's game 5 tonight, and in this pitching matchup tonight for the Astros, 5:07 p.m. Eastern on FS1, you got Verlander against Montgomery. Montgomery is a phenomenal pitcher. He's been great in this postseason. So is Verlander. This is the opportunity for Jordan Montgomery to get his team back on board. In order to get them back in front, they need to win tonight. Montgomery has the arm and the experience and the knowledge to do so, to make Verlander work. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. Can Montgomery slow down and cool off the Houston Astros? He may be their final hope. But let's see if that's doable. He already got 1 win in this series by pitching a gem. People don't remember in game 1 he pitched against Verlander, and they won that one 2-0. Montgomery pitching a scoreless shutout with 5 hits allowed, 6 strikeouts, and a walk in over 6 innings pitched. Verlander, a different story. He wasn't bad, but 2 runs when your team's not really hitting well, it comes back to bite you, and that's what happened. Will we get the same story tonight with Montgomery? Will we get something different where Verlander comes out victorious and makes this a 3-2 series going back to Houston? That is the question. This is considered a straight right now if you're trying to predict this. According to ESPN's analytics, 51% chance that the Texas Rangers win this game, 49% chance Houston wins this. To me, I'm leaning Texas. I think Jordan Montgomery can get it done. They're going to force a game. They're going to go to game 6 back in Minute Maid, and they're going to make it hard for the Astros to really win this series. I think this is their chance. Montgomery has an opportunity to take a 3-2 lead in the series. If he does this, I think Texas is in full control to close out and go to the World Series. They're in the right situation. Texas needs this win tonight. So let's see if they can do it. Again, 5:07 p.m. Eastern, FS1. And that brings us to Philly and Arizona. Yesterday's Philly-Arizona game. That one got interesting. Let's bring up the numbers on that one, actually. Because this one was a game to remember. So yesterday, everybody had written off at this point the Phillies, written off the D-backs, and felt that the D-backs were done for, right? Well, maybe they were wrong. Because the D-backs have a beautiful ballpark. Let's start with that. I think it's one of the best in the MLB right here. Arizona Diamondbacks, Chase Field. Best food, amazing fans, great crowd, no toxicity whatsoever. If you're ever in Arizona, you have to go to one of these games. The Arizona Diamondbacks, one of the best organizations in baseball and one of the best ballparks in baseball too. That cannot be understated. Except for when you're arguing about cheesesteaks, because cheesesteaks are delicious, man. I'm not arguing against that one. So they're showing all the great things that happened leading up to this game, but I know what you guys are here for. You guys are here for the baseball. Let's go into it here. Top of the first, taking the mound for the D-backs in this one. They had to trust everything on their 25-year-old starting pitcher, Brandon Pfaadt. And Brandon Pfaadt has not had the best season, but this postseason he has been very, very good. And right here on Schwarber, he gets a strikeout on him with the sweeper pitch. The sweeper pitch is taken over the MLB, and he throws a beautiful one here to get the out on Schwarber. Ties him up. As you're seeing, he's just hugging that zone. And Schwarber doesn't like the call, but this is what he does. So Trey Turner now at the plate. One out on. He gets this one nice, just past the second baseman into right. And Trey Turner's got himself a single. So got a man on, one out. Phillies, trying to get something good here early like they've been doing the previous game. So here's Bryce Harper. One out man on first. The pitch. Sent this one to second. Rose to second base. Sent back to first. And that is going to be a double play. Perdomo was the one covering second there. Walker on first. The play made by Ketel Marte, the second baseman. Well, Ranger Suarez is out on the mound for the Phillies. He has been very, very dominant and lethal this postseason. He hasn't allowed a single run yet in his time up to this point for the Phillies. Well, here's Ketel Marte. And Marte gets this one out to Alec Bohm, makes a great play and gets the out at first, right to Harper. That's the first out of the game. Again, amazing sliding grab by Alec Bohm. That's going to put them in a good situation. If they play more baseball like that today, in this one, it's going to be an interesting game. A very interesting game. Low scoring, very defensive. But here's Corbin Carroll, who swings and misses on a low breaking ball, and that changes it up. See what I did there? Changes it up. Yep. Well, this third batter comes up, and Gabriel Moreno goes down looking, the catcher for the Diamondbacks, and that's going to end the inning. So no runs, no hits yet for the D-backs. But here's the Phillies now facing up against Pfaadt again. Stott strikes out swinging. Pfaadt looking again dominant in this one. There was nothing bad to be said about the way Pfaadt pitched yesterday. He was completely on point. No issues at all. He was a full go. Couple hits here and there, but it's not a big deal. You can handle and survive that as long as there's no runs. But Real Muto swings and misses on an outside sweeper. And that ends the second. I mean, now they got to go to the bottom of the second, but that ends the batting for the Phillies in that one. Bottom of the second now. Here's Ranger Suarez again, back to the mound. He's facing up against against Christian Walker. My apologies, Christian Walker. It goes back to Suarez, who makes a quick little play, gets him out at first. Little grounder. He didn't get it at first. He didn't have it. He just looks at it, takes his time, tosses it over. First out. Now there's Tommy Pham, who takes an inside pitch, but the ump calls it a strike, so it's a strike, and that's him. He goes down on strikes. Well, Lourdes Gurriel didn't take kindly to that and sends it into shallow center to see if he can get away with it, and he does. It's a single for Gurriel. Now they got a man on base. There goes the perfect pitching game for Ranger Suarez as he gets another one softly hit to him and gets the out at first. To Bryce Harper. One hit that time, left a man on base. We go to the top of the third. Very defensive game up to this point. Castellanos swings and misses on a high fastball. and that's going to send him back down. The Phillies struggling to hit against Fad in this game. Oddly enough, the guy who had struggled during the season is the one who they've been relying on the most in this postseason as the most consistent pitcher. Well, this one by Marsh gets into right center as a bouncer, and that's going to get a double for him. The Phillies got a man in scoring position now at this point. So as the Phillies, you haven't had any problems yet in this game. Everything's been pretty solid. Well, Rojas strikes out. And by striking out, it gets the crowd going absolutely nuts. They have 2 outs. Fad trying to get things done here. Can he finish it off? Well, Schwarber gets a hold of this one, sends it deep to right. It's foul. It's just outside of the foul pole, and it's going to be a foul ball. No homer there, and he gets caught looking again. That's a strikeout. The Dbacks catch a break on that swing, and the Phillies go down looking. He's now the second pitcher with 6 strikeouts through 3 innings in D-backs postseason history. The only other person who did it was Randy Johnson, and that was twice. The D-backs' greatest player in their franchise's history. As Perdomo takes one inside, and that's going to be a strike all day. That's a strikeout for him. That's the second out of the inning. But that brings up Ketel Marte here in the bottom of the third. Suarez throws this one. Marte gets a hold of it. That's going to stay in play for an easy double for the Diamondbacks. Marte on base. But this is going to be the longest history to begin a postseason career. The third longest at this point. Greg Lazinski and Marquise Grisham are the only two who have a longer streak. But they get the out at first, and they get out of the jam. No run scored here. Top of the fourth. Turner down swinging. Fad still looking dominant. The next pitch. Harper hits it right to the second baseman. And that's going to be an out. And then there's the final out right there from Boma. Quick 1-2-3. We're going to the bottom of the fourth. Christian Walker on first. Pham swinging, missing on the curveball. 2 outs now. Suarez still looking great. Here's the next pitch from Gurriel. Gurriel hits it to the shortstop, who gets the out at first to Harper, and they're out of another one. We're scoreless through 4. Is anybody going to score in this one? Well, let's see. Is it going to be Castellanos, who's been a big postseason hero up to this point for Philadelphia? Well, they're keeping Fad in the game, so let's see what happens with Fad with 2 outs and an 0-2 count. He gets him swinging, and Fad gets out of it again. Another 1-2-3. Once again, a strong performance from a guy who wasn't looking great this season. Suarez gets Rivera here, who's in pinch hitting, it looks like. Or no, starting in this one. And he swings and misses on this one, low and inside. Brings him up, and then Perdomo goes down looking with a pitch straight down the middle. That ends the 5th. 5 innings now with no runs scored still for either team. Now, like I had said, Suarez still had not allowed a run in this postseason up to this point. Wait, he allowed 1 run in this postseason. He did not do it in this game. He was dominant throughout, but another strikeout for Fad, and it's the most cases without a walk by a rookie pitcher in a game, the second most so far in MLB postseason history, second with 9. Rojas at the plate sends this one deep to center. Back to make the play is Corbin Carroll, and they're out of it again. Again, the D-backs escape. Fad still looking clean and dominant through it all. You could see how excited and ecstatic the fans are, seeing how the emergence of a great postseason pitcher right before their eyes. Again, only 25 years old, and he is having himself a heck of a game. Fad, again, dominant through it all. Face of adversity, backs against the wall, he comes through. He's the one who gets it done. Well, he gets pulled here in the 6th, and Sal Frank has to come in. And Schwarber finally gets on base with a walk. So with 2 outs here, the D-backs just need to get 1 more. So Turner's at the plate. He hits this one straight to third. The play is made. Throwing it to second to get the force. And that ends the inning. So Fad comes out of the game. They put in Sal Frank in relief, and they do a great job. As somebody gets a hold of this one, sending it to the warning track, and it's off the wall. Marte, another great hit. He's going to be safe at second. He gets a double. D-backs with a double man on second here. Carroll sends this one up. Got past the first baseman. Gets to the second baseman. Suarez makes the play at first. And an amazing save by Bryson Stott. Suarez, good heads-up play to go run over to first, seeing that Harper was not able to get back to the bag. And they get the quick out on Corbin Carroll, one of the fastest men in baseball. And now we watch as Rob Thompson's calling to the bullpen and taking Suarez out of the game. Suarez finished in 5.1 innings with 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 Ks up to this point. So in comes Jeff Hoffman to relieve him. And the pitch is a slider outside, and Moreno could not handle it. That's a strikeout. 2 now in this one for the D-backs. This is the best opportunity they've had all game to score a run. A man on third with 2 outs. Walker sends it right to short. And that's going to go right to Harper, and that's going to get them out of the inning. No runs scored. Man's left stranded on third. Hoffman gets out of the jam. And now we go to the top of the 7th. On the mound now for the D-backs. In this one is Thompson. And Thompson lets a bouncer go to first down the third base line. And safe at first is Bohm. Bryson Stott at the plate with the man on first and second. No outs still. You got the man on second, they get the man at first. They get a double play, but the runner advances to third. So they now have a third base runner in scoring position for the Phillies. Once again, Thompson on the mound here. 1 strikeout and 1 hit in this one. But here comes a pitch that gets away. It's a pass ball. A wild pitch by the D-backs. Another bad throw by the catcher. And Harper's going to score. The Phillies take the lead. 1-0 at the top of the 7th now for the Phillies. In the top of the 7th, they finally put the first run of the game on the board, and they got the lead. 1-0. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. No more runs scored in this one. On first, you got Tommy Pham. D-backs are all motivational here. All encouraging. Well, they put in a pinch runner for him. And that brings on Lourdes Gurriel. Man on first, no outs. This one's going to hug the left field line. Going down. Going to definitely be a double. Marsh coming against the wall. Coming home. Coming home, the pinch runner. He's going to score. It's Thomas. Thomas scores. And the D-backs tie it right back up. They have a perfect opportunity to win this thing. Alec Thomas was the pinch runner here for Tommy Pham, and he gets them tied here in Chase Field. This is the best chance that the D-backs have had all series to win a game right here in this moment. And as you can see, Gurriel with his wild purple hair is excited and ecstatic they were able to pull that off. The next hit drops in to right field. It was shallow, so it wasn't going to happen. Alvarado is on the mound now for the Phillies. Game still 1-1. Runners on first and third with no outs. This one's a bouncer to short. They get a double play pulled off there. That's 2 outs. And the runner stays at third. So the D-backs have still have a man on third, but they have 2 outs now after the amazing double play turned by Turner down to Stott and then down to Harper. Alvarado gives this to Perdomo. It goes right back to him. Alvarado juggles the ball, sends it a little high, but Harper's able to reel it in. And that is 3 outs, but the game is tied nonetheless. We're going to the top of the 8th now. Here comes this one. They're showing some dominance here from one specific man who helps them get out of the jam there. That one, it was Ginkel. Kevin Ginkel. Well, in the bottom of the 8th, another little flyer. Alvarado gets bailed out. That's one's going to center. Center field was right there, make the play. Well, this one from Moreno gets a nice hit, going deep to center. And the play is missed by Rojas. So Moreno gets himself an easy double off a missed play by Johan Rojas. He's been very good on the outfield all postseason. It's why they have him out here, despite the fact his hitting has not justified that decision. Well, now they got a man on second and first. Christian Walker being on first here. Alec Thomas, the play, gets a little grounder out to second base and gets the out at first. Thomas down. They're going now to the 9th inning. Top of the 9th are the Phillies taking the mound here for the Diamondbacks is Mr. Patrick Sewald, and Harper walks to start. He's going to steal second, though, right after getting on base. So they got 2 outs now, and Harper's on second scoring position. And they did not get him looking. The pitch painted the top corner, and they didn't call it. And the D-backs mascot was even pissed off about it. I don't blame him. And they rung him up on that pitch, which looked a lot closer than the last one. But you know what? He gets out of it regardless. No runs allowed. So here we are now in the bottom of the ninth. The D-backs in a good situation as Pavin Smith, sends this to second base. And he couldn't make the play, so they got a man on first and third now. Kimbrel starting to choke here. Rivera hits this right to the shortstop, throws it to the plate. He gets the out on Gurriel. Gurriel is out. He's not going to make it to the plate. So the D-backs are running out of outs here. Even though it's still a tie game, you want to avoid extra innings as much as possible given the extra base runner rule. Extra base runners would suck, honestly, in this scenario because anybody could score at that point. Perdomo gets walked here and the bases are now loaded with one out. Kimbrel in a really, really bad spot as Ketel Marte's at the plate. And he hits this one right into shallow right center. The play made by Rojas, but it's too late. The run comes in to score. The D-backs walk it off 2-1. The D-backs walk it off 2-1. Marte the hero in this one. The Diamondbacks survive going down 3-0 and at risk of a sweep. At most, it's a gentleman's sweep at this point. The D-backs take this one against Philly in front of their home crowd in Arizona. Tonight, this game will be on 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. The pitching matchup for tonight's game is Christopher Sanchez versus Joe Mantiply. And those two guys are bullpen pieces. It's going to be bullpen games for both of these men. So we will see how this game goes for both of these pitchers. But regardless, that game last night was absolutely something to behold. The D-backs were getting all the hits they needed to stay alive in it, and they were making them count. 2 runs, 9 hits, no errors. And Philly was at only 1 hit run on 3 hits and no errors. What a phenomenal performance yesterday by the D-backs. Great job. It's a shame, though. It really is a shame. The Phillies were really hoping to get a sweep and not have a challenge from the D-backs, but they don't go down swinging. They don't go down so easy. They're going to give you a hard fight going down. Well, shout-outs to Ketel Marte, 3 for 5 yesterday with an RBI. He's been phenomenal in this postseason. And also quick shout-outs to Lourdes Gurriel, 2 for 3 yesterday with an RBI. I believe he also walked, too. Yes, he did. He walked in the ninth. And Pavin Smith, who had to come in for Longoria to fill in the DH spot, he actually got on base twice when he went up, 2 for 2. He singled in the 7th and pushed Gurriel to 3rd. In the 9th, he reached on infield single to 2nd, which moved Gurriel to 3rd. So his contribution yesterday 100% helped this team move forward. Big shout-outs also to the pitcher, Brandon Fadd. He's been the big underrated story throughout this postseason. Again, 25 years old, just 25 years old. He had just turned 25 5 days ago, and he's coming into this game with a bad chip on his shoulder from regular season. Again, a 5.72 ERA in the regular season, but in this postseason, he has been nothing short of incredible. 3 games started, 12 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 11 hits allowed, 1 homer, 1 walk, 15 strikeouts. He's not a strikeout machine, folks, don't worry. But in the 3 games he's pitched so far, his only bad game was Milwaukee in the early rounds in the wild card. That was the only time he didn't do too great. 3 earned runs, 7 hits. He didn't look good in that one. But in the LA game against the Dodgers, he was perfection. Just over 4 innings pitched with 2 hits, no earned runs, no homers, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Against the Phillies, his best pitching performance possibly of his career. 2 hits, no earned runs, and nearly 6 innings pitched with 9 strikeouts. He struck out 9 Phillies yesterday. There was a lot of questions, I will say, about the umpires, but I will say, in the end, things happen. If you don't want that stuff to happen, you got to swing the bat, and you got to make plays that matter. That's it. Done. Make it count. Every at-bat matters, and this was a bigger point. Can't blame any kind of umpire if you don't want to swing the bat. Problem solved. That's it. You don't want, again, no matter how you, and I want to explain this because a lot of people get mad when I talk about the umps and ref officiating and all that. I'm going to make this very clear. When you swing the bat, right? Your bat. Let me see if I got one actually. Let me actually see if I got a bat. I'm gonna go look for one. Give me 1 second, everybody. I'm still here. I'm gonna find my bat to show you all, and I'm gonna move the chair out of the way to show you. So give me 1 moment, everybody. 1 moment as I pull out the bat. I'm pretty sure I have it up here. If I don't, I'll use something different. Yeah, I don't think I have it up here. So what we'll do is we're going to replicate. This is what I use for when I'm sore and I have some, my legs get tight or whatever for leg issues, right? Okay, like if I'm doing like working out or whatever, this is what I use to loosen up the muscles on my hamstrings. So when you're at the plate, right, like this, okay, when you're coming in and you lean back and you come to swing, right? I'm going to show you guys from right here if I can. I'm going to tilt the camera up a little bit. All right, it's tilted up. So when you're up here, right, you're coming up to swing. When you come back and you drop down and you're out to here, the amount of base you can cover is massive. You can cover a lot of base. It's true. You can. So when you come back again and you swing and you come through, you could have a lot of control of where the bat goes. You could either come in shallow, you could come in low, you could come in out more, you could come inside and up. There's a lot of control you have in your wrist of where it goes. They tell you sometimes don't do that, but when I swing, I always have a lot of loose. I keep my wrist a little loose so that this way I have the flexibility to be able to adjust it at any point. So I can just drop it whenever it's needed and just easily take it out and get a quick hook. But again, it affects your power and everything. I just did it to get on base. It was all I wanted to do. And whenever I did that, I'd hug the left field line. It's easy. I'm on first, maybe second at that point. So, again, a lot of coverage on the base. Let's say this is your zone, right? You got a big zone right here. Right about here, out, whatever. If it's here in the zone, right? And it's hitting the corner, or it's just outside that corner and they call it a strike when you're looking. When you swing the bat, can't you still hit that? Right there? Right there? So if you really wanted to, you could still swing. So again, one more time. We're right here, right? It's probably the best angle to show. This is your zone here. Let's say you're out here with the pitch. It's just outside the zone, which is right here, right here. You swing, you're making contact right there. Where the microphone is right here, that you hear me tapping, that right there is the ball. That's outside the zone, right? When you swing, you could still make contact right there and take it out. You could still make contact and take it out. So regardless, even if it's an outside pitch just a little bit, the fact is you're freezing up on a pitch that you could easily hit. So it comes down to, again, you deciding with the mental block, can you hit that one out or not? So again, one more time. If it's here, right in the top of the zone, and it's outside, your bat can still hit it. So you could still swing and take that one out, and it's not a bad pitch. That's a pitch you could take yard. But you want something better that's more inside the zone, sure. But if you know he's not going to throw it in the zone, you're going to take what you can get. So you take it. Done. Problem solved. Now, let's say it's low in the zone, like right just below the knees, right? Okay. Just below the knees. That's like right here. Wherever it is. When you're adjusting from right here, you come back, you can come low. You have the ability to come low based off your approach. You can come through and come low. You can come back here again. You can adjust for the middle. You can come back here, right here, come back, adjust high. However it is, it's all in the control of where you see the ball coming. That's it. I'd rather you swing and miss close to the ball than you sit there and watch a pitch come just outside the zone and get mad that it wasn't called a strike. Swing the bat. Swing the bat. That's all it takes. You want a real shot at it, and then don't complain about the umps and swing the bat. That's what I mean. So when I see Schwarber complaining, a man who hit over 40 home runs this year, by the way, is sitting here because he's not mad that they're not throwing a meatball down the plate. I get pissed. You're sitting here, and the pitch is right here in the zone, outside the zone right here. You could still contact it. Listen, you got the reach and the size and the power. You hit this thing outside here, you're going to send it to right. And you're still going to get the hit you're looking for. So personally, he's got to do better. He's got to do better. Make the decision, commit to the pitch, hit it. That's it. I don't want to hear it. Now, in terms of balls that are in play, that are like safe calls, whatever, that's different. We could argue that. But in terms of arguing balls and strikes, I hate it when it's all pitches that you can easily hit. The difference is you just got to swing the bat. That's it. Problem solved. Swing the bat, people. And that goes for all the youth coaches too. Remember, just because the call doesn't go your way doesn't mean that it was a bad pitch. Wait, just because the call doesn't go your way doesn't mean it was a bad pitch. Yeah, it doesn't mean that. You can still win baseball games. You could still hit the ball. Now, I've seen some bad youth coach umpires. Don't get me wrong. Youth league umpires are pretty bad. They can be really bad sometimes. It comes down really low in the zone, like down to the kid's ankles, and they're calling strike. Now, that's bad because you can't hit that. If it's a hittable ball that's in the zone, that's near the zone, and it's called a strike, guess what? That means you should have swung the bat. I know what they say. Always hit whatever's in the zone, but you don't always have to. If it's close to the zone even, hit it. Swing at it. Done. I do it all the time, and I make contact. And that's what it takes. Make contact. Put the bat to the ball and send it where you got to send it. It's done. I'm sure there's some of you guys that are confused with what I mean, but I'm telling you, it's all about your approach at the plate. You can always adjust. There's an adjustment you can put in your swing where it's all about your approach. If you know it's coming high and you feel like it's close to the zone, you're going to swing at it. That's what you have to do. You have to let go. Don't hesitate and then get mad when they call a strike on you and argue balls and strikes. That's not how this is going to work. You should have committed to the pitch regardless, and if it was really that close, that means you really should have swung. That's it. But again, ALCS, NLCS tonight. ALCS, Game 5 tonight. 5:07 Eastern, FS1. Phillies and Dbacks. Phillies still leads the series 2-1, but it's 8:07 Eastern tonight on TBS. I will be doing that game live here on Twitch and YouTube later today. So keep an eye out for that. Let's move to football, people. NCAA football, college football games were yesterday. are going to be tomorrow. We're going to get full action. Let's go over some of the big games to watch for here in Week 8, especially in the top 10. The top 10 is the big story here. The top 25. Let's take a look at the top 25 here and see what's going on. What do the games look like? We're going to complete rankings to really get a good knowledge of what the games look like. Here we go, people. So here are the rankings going into now this week. Georgia, number 1. Michigan, number 2. Ohio State, number 3. And Florida State, number 4. They're staying strong. Oddly enough, though, Washington has now entered the conversation to have more votes than Ohio State and Florida State to be number 3 in the AP polls. However, they don't have enough points to surpass them, so they remain at number 5. Georgia is off this week, so they will not have a game. So no betting on Georgia. Sorry, folks. Michigan has their big rivalry game against the Spartans. So having this big rivalry game against the Spartans should mean a lot. Obviously, the Spartans don't have a head coach right now because Mel Tucker's gone, but they have a lot of motivation to win this game. The Michigan Wolverines do. I think the Michigan State Spartans are going to get pummeled. I don't know what the line is in this game, but I can tell you one thing, it won't be pretty. It will not be a pretty sight. This game will be happening at probably a 7 o'clock game tomorrow. Yep, 7:30 on NBC. 2-4 Spartans against the 7-0 Wolverines. Now, the Wolverines have their own little investigation case going with Jim Harbaugh about sign stealing, allegedly. But that's just like, I'm not even going to get into that. It sounds like petty, stupid stuff. I'm not even going to get involved. I don't even think he was sign stealing. I think he was just doing regular stuff, scouting that other people do. So I won't even go into detail. But Michigan's favoring this game with -24 is the spread. The over-under is 46. They should I wouldn't touch the spread. I touch the over-under. For the over-under, I'm 100% taking Michigan. You're going over on this. It's in the event that Michigan's defense decides to forget how to play defense, and in the end, they allow things to happen. So I would take Michigan in this one clearly, but in the over-under side, take the over. It's 46. That is the line. Michigan's going to win that game to me. Ohio State taking Penn State. That one is the big game of the week. You guys definitely need to tune into that one. I wouldn't touch this one with a 10-foot pole. It is absolutely terrifying game. 12 o'clock on Fox Eastern in Ohio State. That's a big, big game. I don't know if I'm on board with this. If I'm being honest, I haven't seen Penn State really face serious competition yet. At the closest, you could say Iowa, but Iowa's never really been back, per se. And they crushed Iowa 31-0, and they've just been dominant through it all. They've had a very easy schedule up to this point. There's just two teams they have to beat in order to convince people to be in the top 4, which is Ohio State tomorrow at 12 Eastern on Fox, and Michigan on November 11th, 12 o'clock Eastern on Fox as well. They win those 2 games, they're in the top 4 for sure. And now also, that's the big game to watch. Ohio State, Penn State, a lot riding on this game for both teams. They need a victory here. I wouldn't sleep on Penn State to win this thing, but this game is going to be incredibly close. And I mean incredibly close. The line in this game is a -5 for Ohio State, so they know that this won't be an easy game to predict. I do think Penn State's got a very good shot to upset here. They got a very good shot. McCord is not a bad quarterback for Ohio State. He's not bad. Over unders 45.5. I'm not sold on that. I mean, the only positive we have right now is that Penn State's defense has been lights out all year. Ohio State's defense has been pretty solid. Passing wise, they've been shutting everybody down. So that's what you got to worry about is the passing game. But I think they're not really a bunch of a passing team anyway. I think they're more of a running team. I think Penn State likes to stay more balanced with their pass and runs, so I think they're fine compared to Ohio State. Ohio State likes to really air it out. They're pass heavy. So again, that's the game to watch. Ohio State, Penn State. Florida State. It's got Duke this week. Number 4, Florida State versus number 16, Duke. This is another game to watch. Duke has the potential to finally silence the Seminoles, because the Seminoles have looked very hot and cold in every game. They haven't looked great at all. So this is the chance for Duke to say, look, this team isn't all that. Let us come in there and destroy them. Let us beat them, and you guys will see what we mean. The Duke Blue Devils have lost 1 game this year, was to Notre Dame by 7. They beat NC State last week 24-3. This is the big game they're looking for here, Florida State. They want a big win here, and I think they can get it. They can get it, but the overall projection for this game, this one's going to be 7:30 Eastern ABC tomorrow. Florida State is favored 14.5 points, and it's a 49.5 over-under. This is a game that could go very wrong or very good very quick. And overall, the Duke offense has not been anything really to write home about. Passing hasn't been great. The running game's really been the bright spot for them. And for Florida State, they've been really good in both assets. I mean, in both sides of it. The only good game they had was last week. The only dominant win I've seen for them so far against somewhat good competition has been Syracuse. And they beat them 41-3. That's like somewhat good, but they're really not. Syracuse is really not that good of a football team this year. They're really not that good. So Duke, number 16 against number 4 Florida State. Some implications there. Florida State loses that one. I don't know what you do with them. Washington's got a good game this week. They're playing Arizona State. This one should be an easy game for Washington, but you never know. There are some upsets that happen. Hence Stanford and Colorado. But this game, nevertheless, is 10:30 Eastern on FS1. This is 10:30 p.m. Now, this game itself, the line is minus 26.5 in favor of Washington. 59.5 is the over-under. I can't tell you about lines or anything on this one. This very large margin. You never know who's going to over or underperform, so I'm not going to go all in on Washington here, but I do expect them to win. Oklahoma, who had a break last week, is going to have UCF this week. This should be an easy game, no doubter. UCF hasn't really been great. They start out 3-0. They've lost their last 3 games to Kansas State, Baylor, and Villanova. To Kansas. Kansas State, Baylor, and Kansas. Kansas completely smothered them 51-22. And now they're going to get a beat down on national television by the Oklahoma Sooners. 12 o'clock again Eastern on ABC. So I'm not worried about that one. We already talked about Penn State. Texas is playing Houston. Houston's no longer in the top 25. But they did have a big win against West Virginia last week. Now they got Texas. Texas has been looking a little shaky to everybody ever since they had their one loss, being to Oklahoma just a couple weeks ago. So the question now becomes, can Texas get back on track and show why they're still a good team by beating Houston and making it not look close? Not really one to watch, but Texas, maybe you can, glance at it. Oregon, Washington State. Washington State's been sliding a lot, and I feel bad because I gave so much praise to their quarterback Cam Ward, and they have not looked like the same team since I gave that praise. So now I've got questions about him. I think he's got a lot of potential, but we're going to have to see more with what he can do in a better situation. That's how I'm going to put it. But we'll see. We'll see. I like Cam Ward a lot. I think he's a sleeper. Let's keep an eye on him. They got Oregon this week, number 9 in the nation, 10:21, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. So just remember that part. 3:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on ABC. This game, Oregon, it's in Oregon. They're heavily favored in this one. Minus 20-point favorites. And 61 is the over-under. I honestly don't know how this will go. This offense for Washington State has looked terrible in the last 2 weeks. They lose in UCLA and then Arizona. And the Arizona game wasn't close. It was 44-6. So I'm a little nervous for them. They got to figure something out. North Carolina, number 10 against Virginia, the Cavaliers. They have been trash this year. Trash is not an exaggeration. That is the truth. They are absolutely terrible, abysmal. Like, I don't know what other words I could use without it being like profanity. They are really not a good team. So this should be a convincing win for North Carolina. Just do your job, win the game, make it look good, and you're done. Alabama has a tough game this week. Last week we talked about Arkansas being a very tight and competitive game for them. Well, they're going to have to try and do it again because they've got Tennessee. If they lose this game, they're 100% out of the college football playoff. Remember, one more game loss and they're done. 6-1 on the year. They're playing Alabama in Alabama, Tennessee. They're number 17 in the nation. This will be a big win for Alabama if they get this. But Tennessee needs a win here to stay alive if they want to even relatively have a chance to try and get in the college football playoff. Again, this one is 3:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Big game to watch here. Alabama and Tennessee. A lot of implications here. Whoever loses this has no chance at the CFP. Oregon State, number 12 in the nation, has the week off. Ole Miss has Auburn this week. Auburn has been very tough, a tough team to gauge. They're on a 3-game skid losing streak, losing to A&M, losing to Georgia, losing to LSU. LSU was the only one that was considered a blowout, 48-18. A&M 27-10, and Georgia was 27-20. So this should not be too bad of a game for Ole Miss to handle. I mean, if they lose this one, they totally deserve to be really low in the top 25, and their season will be over as well at this point. So Auburn, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN tomorrow. Utah, USC, number 14 versus number 18. Another big game. USC is in a weird scenario. They got beat by Notre Dame and are now 6-1 after a bad loss last week to the Fighting Irish. And it wasn't close either. 40-20 with 3 turnover performance from Caleb Williams. Are they officially out of the CFP? No. Can they get back up there? I don't know. Because they have a very tough road remaining here. USC, who is so touted with Caleb Williams, has to face 4 more ranked teams in the next 5 games. They've got Utah this week, number 14 in the nation. They've got Cal, who is unranked, on the 28th. On the 4th, they face number 5 Washington. On the 11th of November, they face the number 9 ranked Oregon Ducks. And then they've got to close out against UCLA on November 18th. They do not have an easy finish to this season. They need to really, really win every single game. If they lose even one of them, they're done. And they need to make them look fairly convincing by beating every team. That is the only way you climb these ranks. That's it. That's all it takes. You got to win everything. So Utah and USC is a big game for both of these teams. Whoever loses this one's done for. No coming back from that. They're finished for the year. LSU playing Army. Don't even got to talk about it. That's a blowout for LSU. Missouri and South Carolina. Missouri somehow still number 20 in the nation. They'll be on SEC Network tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Missouri 6-1 again on the year. They're favored 7.5 points. 58.5 is the over/under. Here in this one, the Tigers are an interesting. I'll say this: the Tigers are an interesting football team. The only game they lost was to LSU a couple weeks back. But they beat Kentucky last week 38-21 and made it look really, really good. And this is now 2 ranked teams they've beaten in the schedule. It started with Kansas State, and they now did to Kentucky. They lost to LSU, don't get me wrong, but still, they looked very good up to this point. A win against South Carolina helps them rise. Speaking of rise, after this, they've got 2 more tough games. If they can win any of those 2, They got to win both if they want to be in conversation, but they won't be easy. They got Georgia right after this. So if they beat Georgia, I mean, the Tigers are going to be really good standing, and the Georgia Bulldogs are going to be really bad standing. So this is an important game for the Tigers. They still have a relatively fair chance to rise the boards, but they need some big wins. Louisville, number 21 in the nation, is off this week. Air Force playing Navy this week. They're somehow still undefeated, the Air Force Falcons. They're playing Navy. They beat Navy. They're going to 7-0. They'll probably make it into the top 20 at that point. Tulane playing North Texas. Should be an easy game for them. Tulane is number 23. This should be just fine. They're 5-1 on the year. Let's give them their credit. I think they'll be okay. North Texas has not been that good this year at all. Not good at all. And then Iowa, number 24, 6-1, number 24 in the nation. They're playing the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And to my knowledge, the Golden Gophers haven't been great. Again, they've been getting blown out by really good teams. North Carolina crushed them, and Michigan crushed them. Those are two really good teams that have just demolished them. If Iowa wants to prove they're a good team, they got to crush Minnesota too. And UCLA has Stanford. Again, Stanford coming off the big win against Colorado. But can UCLA take care of business and take out the Stanford Cardinal? 2-4. They really are not a good football team, but they were able to beat Colorado somehow. I'm still processing that. But here are the final summary of the games to watch one more time. These are the most important ones. I'm going to write them down. We'll talk about it, and I'll tell you exactly what the game plan should be. So, first off, the one to watch. The number one of the week is Ohio State and Penn State. That's 3 versus 7. It's number 3 in the nation versus number 7 in the nation. That one has huge implications. Both squads undefeated. The winner of this one likely secures their spot in the top 4 as long as they win out to finish. Another game, Florida State and Duke. Florida State number 4 in the nation against number 16 Duke. So it's 4 versus 16. This one could have huge implications. If Duke even gets puts one blemish on the Florida State record, they're going to fall out of the top 4 very quickly, may not be able to get back in. Duke will rise up the boards significantly with a big win. Another game to watch here you have, it looks to be, let's say, Oregon and Washington State, because Washington State, even though they haven't looked great, I'm still not out on them. I think they can still make a play here. And it's like versus like a Pac-12 rival. So this is always a tight game when it's in division. It's always closer than people anticipate it. I would really watch for State. They could easily wake up offensively and just go nuts. But Oregon's defense has been very, very good this year. So I got to give them a lot of credit. We're not going to worry about North Carolina. Alabama, Tennessee. Yes, Alabama and Tennessee. The loser of this one, for sure, their season is over. I mean, you still got the bowl games, but their season overall for the playoff is over. College football playoff, it's done. Now we got Utah and USC. Same situation again with Utah and USC. It is battle to avoid being eliminated from the CFP. You want to still have a chance, you got to win this game. And that's what's on the stake for both teams. Cam Rising versus Caleb Williams. Let's also add into the mix here. I don't know. Honestly, we're not going to add the South Carolina game into the mix, but Missouri should be in control enough to take out South Carolina. Other teams to watch that are still receiving votes that could make it into the top 25. I really mean this. James Madison University, the Dukes, leading the way. Right there. They are right on the edge. Any of those bottom 5 teams lose, they're going to go right in their spot because they are still undefeated up to this point. Clemson right behind. Florida, Washington State still getting votes. Fresno State, Liberty, Wyoming, Kentucky, Kansas, Miami, West Virginia, and Oklahoma State. Those are the teams that are still getting votes to get into the top 25. That tells you how contested everything is right now. But regardless, these are the 5 games to watch this weekend that have huge implications. Ohio State versus Penn State, number 3 versus number 7. Florida State versus Duke, 4 versus 16. Oregon, Washington State, number 9 versus their Pac-12 rival that can really do damage. Alabama versus Tennessee, number 11 versus number 17. Utah versus USC, number 14 versus number 18. That's where the final 5 stand to watch for this weekend here with with college football. That's the way the playoff looks. Okay, so now, So that's going to do it for the college football ranking at this point. So we can get rid of the college football ranking here. We're going to go into Thursday Night Football review. I can't do the highlights, unfortunately, so we're going to have to save that for another time. I'll probably get kicked off of YouTube for this. So we're going to move to something completely different. We're just going to go over whatever happened, and then I'll do a review separately from here. I'll make that a whole YouTube video or something, and you guys can access it there. That's how we're going to roll. So let me take a look and see what I can find here in the YouTube and take care of that now. We're getting it now as we speak. It's going to be right here. Okay, I got the video at least, but I'm pulling up the numbers now just so we're prepped. Okay, so in the NFL yesterday, the Jaguars and the Saints faced off. To what I know, this was a game where a lot of people were criticizing the actions of one man in particular, Derek Carr. But from the numbers, they don't seem too bad. 33 for 55, 301, 1 TD, 1 interception. It didn't look terrible. But again, I probably got to watch the tape to understand why people were ragging on him. Jaguars did win this thing 31-24. Saints had a lot of opportunities to tie the game, and they were unable to do so. Some of it due to receivers dropping passes, and also Derek Carr not being really good with the football. I'm going to need to review all of that and look it over to see really what was the key issue. Was it him or was it the line? Was it the receivers not running the proper routes? Was there miscommunications? Whatever it is, I got to go through it all. But stats-wise, Carr, 301, 1 TD, 1 interception. Kamara had a all-purpose 153 yards. Great for him. He was the leading receiver and rusher yesterday. And for the Jaguars, 20 for 29, 204, 1 touchdown. Rushing-wise, Lawrence leader with 8 carries, 59 yards. And the receiving leader for Jacksonville, 6 receptions for 90 yards and a touchdown. So, Jaguars looking great. They're now 5-2 and have not lost a game on the road yet. The Saints now 3-4, have only won 1 game at home this year. This is their second loss in the Superdome. So, this is where things get interesting for them. That's a quick review we're going to do, just very quick. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I want to do more of a breakdown, but I completely forgot that YouTube is, they're very hesitant with things. I don't really like what YouTube does. They can be very restrictive of the things you want to do and the reactions you want to do, so we're just going to save it for, we'll save it for an off-stream video. I'll make that a thing now later on. That's what I'll do. I'll make that a thing that I do later. I'll do it after the stream's over, record it, and send it up to you guys out on YouTube. You guys can watch it there. If not, I guess we're going to Patreon. So, if you guys aren't already know, Patreon is a service that I use now to do exclusive content videos if I can't specifically get the reactions to YouTube. So if I can do reaction on YouTube, it's going to be on my Patreon. I can't set it to a free balance. It's $1 a month. I'm sorry, y'all. I really did not want that to happen. I want it to be free so you guys could access it, but they don't want that to happen. So, $1 a month. Before you guys sign up for that, I want to make sure I can actually upload this video. If I can't upload it, then it's going on Patreon. That's all I could do. And I'm not somebody that needs the money. I just really want to talk sports and just react and share my knowledge. That's it. And that's going to bring us to our final segment then. We're going to go into Week 7 NFL predictions real quick. All right, so we're getting the NFL games up now. I'm getting the scores here so that we can be fully prepared for this one. And I got it. Okay, cool. All right, we're going to go to the NFL page. I want to make sure I got all the NFL stats as well. This way I'm not doing like a biased order since my settings are saved as a Bucks fan on ESPN, so they'll have my Bucks stuff prioritized first. I don't want that. Okay, we got it. In proper order of the way it's supposed to be. Got it. All right. Here we go, folks. So for those who don't know, last week we went 12-3 in predictions, which is our best record and start of the year yet. We're now 59-30. I think I said 36 on the year. 59-36. Which would put us in really good standing. Yep, really good standing for this week. So I got my Post-it here ready to go to write down some of these games, whatever we pick. So let's start with the first one. You guys can feel free to chime in at any point and give your intake and your opinion and your take on how you think the game will go, and we'll talk it out and we'll figure out what do we vote. So, Detroit, Baltimore's first. That's 1:00 Eastern. This one will be on Fox. Again, it's all regional, so you guys know how that goes usually. Detroit, Baltimore. 5-1 Lions, 4-2 Baltimore Ravens. This is in Baltimore. It's a tough game. I mean, look, the Lions have the 4th best offense. Ravens have the 12th. 2nd best defense compared to the Lions, 9th. 21st in passing compared to 6th for the Lions. 8th in rushing for the Lions compared to the 4th for the Ravens. Honestly, this is where the questions begin to settle in. What do they really settle in for? You know? Like, what could it possibly be? That would be my question. What is the outlier numbers here? Well, let's take a look in the advanced stats. I'm going to have advanced stats ready because I want to be able to see this. We're going to do team stats. So I'm going to the defensive side here. We're going to look at the defensive yards allowed. We'll do rushing-wise, right? Rushing yards a game. The Lions allow the least rushing yards per game, and the Ravens have been the 4th best running team in baseball. I mean, in football. Sorry, everybody. Oh, I got them mixed up. The 4th best rushing attack in football up against the number 1 run defense in football. To me, that doesn't bode well for the way the Ravens will perform since everything relies on the run. So for me, I'm already leaning Lions. But in terms of the passing game alone, let's look at the passing yards allowed. The Lions are middle of the road. The Ravens are actually the 2nd best pass defenders in the league. 2nd best at pass defense. So if that is the case, right? The Ravens defense should be able to handle whatever Goff throws at them. The receivers shouldn't do too well. It's going to be more of a Jahmyr Gibbs ground and pound game with Craig Reynolds than anything else. So that could be good for them. So the Lions are going to focus more run game wise. The Ravens are going to have to force passes. And that's what it'll take. And also in terms of run defense, the Ravens aren't bad either. They are also the 9th least amount of rushing yards allowed per game. They're 9th in yards allowed per game in terms of the least. So I guess that's the way I'm going to put it. I'm trying my best to word it properly. But Lions allow the least amount in football. The Ravens are 9th in that category per game, which is at like 97.7 compared to the Lions 64.7. So again, for the Ravens, this is a tough game overall. I'm leaning Detroit here. I think Detroit is going to get the big win. If there was a game to lose though for them, it would be this one. This one will be fairly close. I think it'll be within a touchdown, but I got Detroit regardless. I like the Ravens. I just feel like Detroit's got a good hold on them, and there's not going to be. It's going to take a lot to really take down a unit like that. They would need a punch in the mouth, and that's got to come from your passing side and from the pass rush. You know, my big question is also points allowed per game. Who's really bad at allowing points? Well, apparently Lions and Ravens are good at holding back teams from scoring. The Ravens' defense is 4th in scoring in points allowed per game. And the Lions are 9th in that category at 18.8 compared to the Ravens' 15.2. So that's something good to note. So I would definitely keep an eye on that. I think Detroit will probably be the winner of that one. But again, it's a close game regardless. The Raiders and the Bears. Do I really have to do this game? It doesn't matter. 2 backups are going up against each other in this one. The quarterbacks matchup is important here. For the Raiders, it's either going to be Aiden O'Connell or Brian Hoyer against Tyson Bagent and the Chicago Bears. I mean this so seriously. I'm thinking Chicago. I mean this so seriously. I don't think you can prepare yourself for Tyson Bagent. I don't think you can. I'm a fan of the kid, but I can't let my fandom get in the way either. 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Fox. Raiders-Bears in Soldier Field. The Raiders' offense is not good. Honestly, they're really not. The Bears' offense is better. But the problem is the Bears' defense is terrible. So the question is, what's worse? Having a bad defense or having an average offense? What's better? An average offense against a above average defense or having a below average offense against a bad defense? What's worse? I really don't know. Sorry about that, folks. So to me, if I'm going to take a guess here because of the way everything looks, I'm hesitant. I really am. I think the Raiders' weapons are helpful. If Hoyer gets into the game manager style that he used to have back when he was with the Browns early in his career, I could see it. I'm leaning Chicago, though. I am leaning Chicago. I feel like there's an upset brewing somewhere, and this would be the upset. Chicago over the Raiders. I think Badger's more prepared for this game than anybody else. Give me the Bears. I didn't think I'd be doing that, but I'm going with the Bears. Cleveland and Cincinnati, big games here. Supposedly Watson's back at practice, so he's probably going to be a game-time decision to start for the Browns against the Colts in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium, 1 o'clock Eastern Time on CBS Sunday. Offensively, the Browns suck. 27th overall in offense, 32nd in passing, the worst passing offense in the league. With Watson coming back, that could change things. But they have the number 1 defense in the league and are 9th on the ground. So they're still a good running team. They are a really, really, really good defense. But the Colts offensively are 11th. And their defense is not bad, is pretty bad. So if I'm the Browns, I'm thinking I've got an advantage here. You know, you're going up against Gardner Minshew, who has a good habit to get chunk yardage and be really good in the air, like 300 plus almost every game. But for him, he's a turnover guy. And this team's good at forcing turnovers. So if that happens, they're good at getting 3 and outs. They're not really big of a turnover team. But they're good at stopping you 3 and outs that way. That's their style. If that's the way they go, Minshew's going to have a long day. Defensively for the Colts, I can't say the same. The Colts defense has been a little bit of a point of question. I mean, in terms of points allowed per game, they allow the 9th most points per game, which isn't good. In terms of on-the-ground rushing, right? On-the-ground rushing wise, the Colts are in like middle of the pack again, average in rushing yards allowed per game. And in terms of passing yards allowed per game, the Colts allow the, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They allow the 10th most passing yards per game. So they're not a great pass defense. Their rush defense is average. They're just an average defense. And that means there's going to be a lot of good groundwork from the Browns. Passing-wise, they should have a decent chance if Watson plays. If he doesn't, it could be a repeat of what we saw last time. I'm not sold on that idea. Let's look at it at the flip side. I'm pretty sure offensively, though, there's going to be an issue here. Offensively, there's going to be a problem. Let's take a look at the offensive side. We said Colts and Browns. The Browns, in terms of total offense, are like about average to below average in terms of yards per game. In terms of scoring for points per game for offenses, the Browns, again, below average slightly. The Colts are above average. But it just comes down to, the quarterback play. The quarterback play plays a big part in this. And in terms of run game and run attack, the Browns, again, 4th best in the league in terms of rushing yards per game. And the Colts are like average in that category. In terms of passing yards per game, offensively, the Browns are the 3rd worst. The 3rd worst. The only 2 teams who have worse passing yards per game is the Giants and Jets, which makes sense. But the Colts themselves are in the top 10 in that category, or just outside of it as a unit. I think they're actually inside that. Yeah, they're in the top 10 for passing yards per game. So again, it just comes down to execution. Can you handle these things with Minshew? Can you keep the trends going? That becomes more the question than anything else. And if that's the question, you know what? It's in Indy too, and I don't know how Indy's done this year in their home stadium. Let's take a look at how they did in their own home stadium this year. I'm trying to figure out if we can get that info. Let's take a look at the full schedule this way I know for sure. They lost their first game of the year at home. They lost their 4th game of the year at home. And they won their 3rd game of the year at home. So they're 1-2, but the last time they played at home, they beat the Titans, which is a rival. This isn't a rivalry game. This is a game against the Browns. Plain and simple. This isn't a rivalry game. This is a game against the Browns. So, honestly, I'm probably leaning to Cleveland. I'm leaning a bit to Cleveland here. I don't know if they'll secure it, but knowing how good their defense is, I'm inclined to go with Cleveland, whether Watson plays or not. And their defense really hasn't been good this year. Colts have been average and mediocre in every category. Buffalo and New England next, another 1 o'clock game on CBS. Buffalo going up against the lowly Patriots. I don't even want to debate this one. I feel like it's too obvious. I think it's Buffalo, clearly. I don't think there's any chance New England wins this game. Not with Mac Jones as your quarterback. Nope. Next, Washington and the Giants. This one's actually going to be fairly closer for me because I know the Giants are looking to rebound and look better. Again, they're really bad. They're really bad in every category. They're really bad in every category. I mean that. They are not a good unit. 28th offense, 28th defense, 28th in passing this year, 20th in rushing. The only thing they have better right now, actually no, not the only thing. The two things they are better than right now is overall defense against the Commanders. You make that make sense. And the run game, which I find very surprising. But nevertheless, passing-wise, the Commanders are better. They're average at best. The Giants suck in passing. They suck as an offense. They suck as a defense. And as rushing attack, they're below average. Or they're just about average, I'll say. Slightly below average, probably be better. For the Commanders, they're below average. Passing-wise, they're average. Defense, they suck. For the offense, it's like slightly below average overall. So, it'll be down to a passing game. And, I mean, it's going to be down to passing for Washington. And the question is, can they maintain those passing stats? Can they maintain those passing stats with this unit? That becomes my question. And I'm going to get those stats now one more time. And the answer is... the Giants are actually an average pass defense. Average pass defense. No joke, they are. What they suck at is that they can't stop the run for their life. So this will be a field day for Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. Second most rushing yards allowed per game at 147.5. That's not good. Not a good number. So I'm going to go Broncos here. I mean, not Broncos. I'm going to go probably Commanders here over the Giants. I know this is the one team that Daniel Jones happens to beat a lot, but I'm not sold on the Giants. I keep telling you guys. I know it's in front of a New York crowd, but the Commanders are just so good this year. They got their own Baker Mayfield, you know? I'm taking the Commanders in this one. I think the Giants have potential to make this win, but I will not support the Giants because I know they're going to break me anyway. They should have won last week and they didn't do it. You can't bank also a win on if a team looked good against another one. It doesn't work like that. Well, Atlanta versus Tampa Bay is next. Atlanta needs a big win here. If they beat Tampa Bay, they pretty much take first place in the NFC South. That's how bad it is right now. Against the 3-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs offense as a whole, 30th in the league because they suck. The rushing attack, 32nd because they suck. And 26th in passing because they suck. The defense, though, 3rd overall in the NFL. Probably one of the best by far. But hey, the Falcons are good too. They're 5th in overall in defense as well. The Atlanta offense is more coordinated, more statistically better overall. 16th in passing, 11th in rushing. I would be very nervous to play Atlanta. And you're in Tampa. Now here's the thing. The Bucs are fairly healthy for the most part. I can't say the same for Atlanta. I don't believe they're healthy either. So I'm going to confirm that now. I believe their offense is... I don't believe they have anybody healthy ready for... I think they're going to have a couple guys out for this game. Let me just confirm. I believe they are going to have people out. Let's check the injury report. Nope, not so far, actually. Surprisingly enough, they're going to be okay for this game, it looks like. Let's take another quick look. Yep, no injuries reported for the Falcons. For the Bucs, Vita Vea, their starting nose tackle, is questionable for the game. He may not play. That would be a huge loss for Tampa Bay. They cannot have that. That's their number one guy pretty much on the line. Can't let him get hurt. Regardless, 3rd defense in the league overall against the 5th defense. You got the 15th overall offense against the 30th. The Bucs are just terrible on both ends this year of the ball, but somehow their defense keeps them in these games and they stay alive. So to me, I'm having a hard time picking. I mean, they've had some tough teams to start, and Atlanta's offense has been so surprisingly good. I wouldn't be shocked if they beat Tampa. I'm just not sold on the defensive. I'm just not sold on Desmond Ridder. And knowing the way the Buccaneers work, they're going to find a way to lose this game. So give me Atlanta. I had Detroit last week and they beat Tampa, and I'm going to put my bias aside. We're going Atlanta here. I think Atlanta beats Tampa Bay in Tampa. And I was right about that last week with Detroit. I think the same thing could happen here. Atlanta, a good unit. They're just offensively better, and I think the Bucs defense is going to fold if they keep going back out on that field. Pittsburgh, LA. It's the Steelers and the Rams next. 4:05 Eastern on Fox. We've hit the 4 o'clock window. The Steelers, worst offense in the league. Passing offense, trash. Rushing offense, trash. Defense, 15th, average. The Rams, 9th offense in the league, above average. 7th in passing, good, like really good passing offense. Rushing, average. Defense, average. So it just leaves the question, who do we think wins this game? I think it's kind of clear here from my end. I'm taking the Rams here. They got more offensive weapons. Their offensive coordinator actually has a brain. And defensively, they're very competent compared to the Steelers. And I'm not saying that Steelers defense is not competent. I'm saying the Rams as a unit overall have a good base and everything's built well around their coach and the players they have and their skill guys. I feel they're good and well equipped to win this game. I can't say the same for the Steelers. So Pittsburgh will lose this game. It's going to be the Rams to win here. Seems kind of obvious to me. I don't think there's any debate. I think statistically the Rams have this. So give me the Rams. Arizona and Seattle now. It looks like that's another 4:05 game. That one's going to be on Fox Eastern. Arizona versus Seattle. The 1-5 Cardinals versus the 3-2 Seahawks. Kyler Murray's not going to play this week. It's going to be Josh Dobbs more than likely again. At Lumen Field in Seattle. Now, don't get me wrong. Seattle's offense has not been good this year at all. They have not been good. But somehow the Cardinals' offense has been better. Their passing offense is 1 overall higher than the Seahawks. Passing offense, 23rd for Seattle, 22nd for the Cardinals, despite Josh Dobbs being the starter. And on the ground, the Cardinals have been amazing. 5th on the ground this year. 5th overall. The Seahawks, 25th. And then defensive-wise, the Cardinals are trash. No defense. The Seahawks defense is actually insane. They're so good. So I'm not going to, I'm going to ride with Seattle here, but I would totally expect this to be a close game. Totally expect it to be close. Only because Seattle's bad offense is going up against the Cardinals' bad defense. And the Cardinals' average offense is going up against an elite defense. Because things can swing a little bit each way if you overperform. Green Bay and Denver. I don't know why I'm even doing this game. 4:25 Eastern on CBS. This will be an Empower Field at Mile High. Second worst offense in the league belongs to the Packers. They are trash in that category. Trash in passing, trash in rushing. Very good defense, though. 7th overall. The Broncos, worst defense in the NFL, 32nd. Their offense, 18th in passing, 19th in rushing. Their averages, maybe slightly below. In this specific game, I am very nervous to see who's worse, the Packers offense or the Broncos defense. This is going to be the big question of this game. Because defensively, the Packers should have the Broncos in bubble wrapped and taken care of. On the defensive side, the offensive side, I don't know if the Packers can be lethal enough to take down Denver. But Denver's bad. So if Denver's bad, the Packers can capitalize. So in this game specifically, I'm like iffy. I'm not sure about Jordan Love. I think this is a game to get him back on track. Give me Green Bay over Denver in Denver. I'm thinking that might be the case here. That'll be the solution. The Chargers and the Chiefs, 4:25 Eastern on CBS. I'm very happy this was not the Sunday night game because I don't think the Chargers are going to give too much of a fight here. 23rd rushing attack, that's below average. 14th is average. 16th defense, average. Offense overall, 19th. It's like slightly below average. Offensively for the Chiefs, 5th, elite. Defense, 8th, elite. Passing offense, 3rd, elite. 12th in rushing, above average. So yeah, I don't think I need to read anything else. I know it's a division rivalry and they're in Kansas City, but you know what? I think Kansas City's got this one wrapped up. I think they got this one wrapped up. I don't think there's any debate to this. Give me the Chiefs, people. And finally, we have a Sunday night football game. Miami, Philadelphia, 8:20 Eastern, NBC, Sunday night football. Miami Dolphins, Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams combined with 2 losses. They're basically 10-2 combined. They have the same record at 5-1 in Philly, by the way. This is Lincoln Financial. The 2 best offenses in the league, number 1 passing and number 1 rushing offense of the Miami Dolphins, against the number 2 offense in the league of the Philadelphia Eagles, 2nd in rushing, right behind Miami, and 10th in passing behind Miami. I mean, well behind Miami. But they're still an above-average passing unit. Defensively, the Eagles' defense is 11th in the league. The Dolphins are ranked 22nd overall. The question is, what are the Dolphins' weak points? Is it actually the run game? If it's the run game, that's their weak point. This is going to be a long night for them. If it is their run game. If it's not, I'd be concerned. If it's not, I'd be less concerned. The Dolphins' run defense is definitely the concern. They're average. Maybe below average. I'll say they're about average. They're about average in run defense. In terms of Philly, though, they're the 2nd best run defense in the league. They're going to have a hard time running this ball in Philly. And in terms of pass defense, Miami is also average in that category as well. Philly right below them in pass defense. So this will be a air attack heavy game. I'm sure the Eagles will have a better time finding balance here. The Dolphins will give a good fight. I don't know who's favored in this game, but I'm pretty sure people are going to pick Miami to win. And I don't see it. Their defense is definitely a liability. And the Eagles is a strong point. So I'm just like, it's going to take a massive passing game for Miami to really win this game. And they would need their defense to force some turnovers. And speaking of turnovers, this is the big point I have here. This is going to be sometimes the deciding factor in games is turnovers. So let's take a look at interceptions. The most interceptions in the league, who has more, Miami or is it the Eagles? Apparently Miami and the Eagles both only have 2. But the difference is in terms of fumbles that have been forced and recovered, the Eagles have the 2nd most in the league, tied with the Chiefs and Steelers at 6. Miami is at 3, which puts them tied with the Titans, Vikings, Cardinals, Seahawks, Commanders, and Ravens. Total takeaways in the end, Miami has 5. 5 takeaways. The Eagles have 8. Let's talk about the giveaways, the interceptions and fumbles, the ones that they gave away. Where do Miami and the Eagles rank? Miami gave away 9, and so have the Eagles. So in terms of turnover differential, the Eagles are at a -1 and Miami's at a -4, which tells you below the average, which is not what you want, but it does happen. But that's mostly because the Dolphins have fumbled the ball 3 times and thrown 6 picks compared to the Eagles, who have thrown 7 and fumbled twice. So again, this could be easily a turnover game that could go crazy real quick. Because again, these guys don't really get interceptions. It's not their thing. It's the fumbles that make things matters for them. The Eagles are more likely to fumble you than intercept you. But the Dolphins are less likely to force a turnover. But they can still do some damage regardless. That's the weird thing with them. They can still do some damage. So overall, I think everything's pointing in favor of the Eagles. So I'm going to go Philly in this game. Again, lots of favorites I'm probably picking this week. But again, I don't see this being a very tightly contested upset week like last week. Last week was wild. Wild. And you better bet that Philly's pissed off that they lost that game. Because you don't lose that game. You don't lose that game to the Jets. Same thing goes with the Niners. You don't lose that game to the Browns. You don't do that. And now we'll worry about the San Francisco-Minnesota game on Monday. That's an 8:15 game, again, Eastern, here on ESPN. And we'll probably be covering that game here on Twitch and YouTube, so you guys can go ahead and watch it there. Now, in the end, let's do a quick recap of the games and what we've decided. So these, again, are the picks for this week. Again, I did pick the Jaguars to win yesterday. The Jaguars are my winner. And so we've already started the week 1-0. So, Detroit-Baltimore, I'm picking Detroit and Baltimore. Raiders-Bears, my upset pick. I'm going with the Bears with Tyson Bagent, the rookie from Shepherd University, is going to lead them to a victory in Chicago, be their second win of the year. Give me Chicago. Cleveland and Indianapolis, give me the Browns over the Colts. I like Minshew, don't get me wrong, but the Cleveland's game is going to be much better and much cleaner. The pass attack, the pass defense, and the pass rush from the Browns will create a lot of damage and problems for Minshew and the Colts offense. Buffalo, New England, I'm taking Buffalo, no contest. New England has nothing left. Bill Belichick will be fired at the end of the year. It's already growing. Don't worry about it. Robert Kraft's already working on something. It's been reported. Washington and the Giants. I'm taking Washington. New York and Washington have been great this year offensively or defensively. But I'm going to lean towards Washington's offense over the Giants. I think they're going to do more because the Giants' defense has been more problematic. So give me Washington in this one. Atlanta, Tampa Bay. I want to go Tampa Bay, but I'm going Atlanta. I think what happens in the end is Tampa Bay's offense is going to be a liability throughout the game. Atlanta's defense is actually really good and underappreciated. The Atlanta offense will try to capitalize more and will probably find more success against Tampa Bay's defense than vice versa. So give me the Falcons. Pittsburgh and LA. I'm taking the Rams here. I think Pittsburgh's got to fire Matt Canada if they want anything to change. I'm sticking by my guns on that. Give me the Rams. Another big win here in LA. Arizona, Seattle. Give me Seattle. I think Arizona's offense has been great this year, but Seattle's defense has been overpowering. Arizona's defense has not been good at all. And although the Seattle offense has been slow to start and be playing under what they should be playing, they should be able to bounce back in this game and take out Arizona. Give me Seattle here in Lumen Field. Green Bay, Denver. I'm taking Green Bay. Denver, this is more of a toss-up. You got a really bad offense in Green Bay against a really bad defense in Denver. I think the offense will more than likely capitalize on how bad the Denver Broncos defense is, and the Green Bay defense will do a phenomenal job stopping whatever Russell Wilson throws at them. So give me Green Bay. The Chargers and Kansas City. I'm taking the Chiefs here in LA. All the stats point in favor of the Chiefs, so give me the Chiefs. They're going to go to 6-1 and get another big win in Arrowhead. Miami and Philly, the Sunday night football game. I'm taking Philly. Philly's defense has really forced a lot more turnovers, which will be the big deciding factor here. Miami's been good at trying to avoid that, but in the end, they have the same amount of giveaways as the Eagles, which isn't good. So in the end, I'm going with Philly here. Run game's better. Defense I trust better. And that's really it. Overall offense and their defense and their run game has been phenomenal. The only way Miami wins this game is if the passing game is on point, and that's what they need to anchor on the whole game. They're not going to have that. Philly wins this one in Philadelphia. They're going to go to 6-1. Miami falls to 5-2. Leaves the door open for Buffalo to tie them and get back in first place in the AFC East. And that's it. That's the picks. So once again, we are at 1-0 now with this win, and our record is at 59-36. We have an opening here, people, to keep this trend going and get big. So let's see what we can do. But that's going to do it for the show today on the Brian Mansell Show. Again, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you guys are here for the first time, please consider giving us a follow on Twitch. If you're watching it on Twitch, it goes a long way in helping our channel get exposure and grow throughout the years. I mean, throughout the months, and helping us get more exposure on the sports community pages here on Twitch and so and so. And then we add on also YouTube. If you guys are watching this on YouTube for the first time, please consider subscribing. We're working on doing more content up there and, trying to post more reactions, more clips from streams or whatever. We're trying our best to do more and make that more accessible and attractive to you guys. So again, YouTube, The Brian Mansell Show, please subscribe. And if you are watching this on Twitch, please just give us a follow. We don't do subscriptions, please. It goes a long way in helping us grow this channel even further. Once again, my name is Brian Mansell, and thank you guys for watching. We'll be back later tonight for the stream involving the Diamondbacks and the Phillies night game. Game 4, Diamondbacks trying to tie up the series. They're trying to tie the series. We'll be doing that game specifically tonight. I think that's the right game. I'm pretty sure, right? We'll see on the ticker on the bottom here real quick. The answer is yes. Houston, Texas is the first game. We're not doing Houston, Texas. We're going to do Diamondbacks and Phillies tonight. 8:07 is the game. Eastern, TBS. Be here on Twitch, you guys, want to hear the live commentary and call of the game. Once again, I'm Brian Mansell. We'll see y'all later. And the show will be back weekday mornings. Again, we're going to be here next time on Monday, 11 a.m. Don't miss it. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you guys soon.
Why'd I always do this to myself? Let all of these words come out my mouth. You could have been my life, walking down in white. but I let you down. Too late to turn back now, and what I said to you, I'm full of lies. So don't wake up, I can't bear goodbyes, no, no. I'm scared of going under when you piece it all together. Impossible to watch you frown, so I'll go down. Yeah, I'm done deceiving with my life, 'cause I can't forget those tears you cried to me. You cried to me. Guess you made me feel and I hate it. Admit you made it hard to fake it. Yeah, you broke down at my knees and I thought it won't escape me. No, no, no. I'm scared of going under when you piece it all together. Impossible to watch you frown, so I'll go down. You made me face my problems and keeping myself open to you, and I'm sorry. I'm scared of going under when you piece it all together. Impossible to watch you frown, so I'll go